Did you catch the thrilling last quarter of the game between the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings? When it seemed like the Fever was about to fold, Caitlyn Clark stepped up and flipped the script with back-to-back three-pointers as if she was just shooting around in her driveway. It was a jaw-dropping moment that shifted the momentum entirely, but that was just the opening act. As the Fever clawed their way back into the game, Clark hit another three, and then Kelsey decided to join the party, nailing one of her own. Suddenly, the Fever was back in the thick of it, unleashing a surge of energy that left the Wings reeling. Caitlyn Clark finished with an impressive stat line: 28 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds, and 5 three-pointers. Not to be outdone, Kelsey Mitchell poured in 36 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, and also hit 5 three-pointers. Together, they became an unstoppable force, a duo that's quickly becoming one of the most formidable in the league. And here's the kicker: this wasn't just a one-time fluke. The Fever had already taken down Angel Reese's Chicago Sky on the road, and now they've done it again, this time against the Dallas Wings. A team that was once seen as an underdog is now making everyone in the league take notice. Let's break down this epic performance by Clark and Mitchell, because it's a game that demands attention. First, Caitlyn Clark. This rookie is playing with the poise and confidence of a seasoned veteran. Scoring 28 points is no small feat, but dishing out 12 assists shows that she's not just about scoring. She's making her teammates better too. And those 5 threes, Clark's range is forcing defenses to stretch thin, creating opportunities that didn't exist before she stepped on the court. Now, let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell. She was on fire, dropping 36 points and pulling down 6 rebounds. Her 5 threes matched Clark's, making them a nightmare for any defense. When you've got 2 players draining shots from deep with this level of consistency, how do you stop them? They're like the Splash Sisters of the WNBA, and the chemistry between them is palpable. The fact that they combined for 64 points, over half of the team's total, is a testament to their synergy and skill. This dynamic duo is becoming one of the most feared pairings in the league. They complement each other so well that it feels like they've been playing together for years, not just one season. Clark's court vision and deadly shooting from beyond the arc, paired with Mitchell's aggressive scoring and shot-creating abilities, are giving opposing coaches sleepless nights. But don't be mistaken, this wasn't just another good game. The Fever is on a roll, and their rise is shaking up the WNBA standings. Before this game against the Wings, the Fever had already made a statement with their win over the Chicago Sky. What's most impressive? Both of these victories came on the road. Winning in the WNBA is hard. Winning on the road is even harder. And the Fever pulled it off twice in a row against tough opponents. Against the Sky, Clark and Mitchell showcased their growing partnership, dominating the game as if the Sky's defense didn't know what hit them. And now they've done it again against the Wings, solidifying their place as a team to watch. It's as if the Fever has cracked the code for winning on the road. These victories aren't just adding numbers to the win column, they're sending a loud and clear message to the rest of the league. The Indiana Fever is no longer a pushover. When other teams see the Fever on their schedule, they know they're in for a battle. What's even more exciting is that the Fever seems to be improving with every game. Each win is fueling their confidence, and if they keep this up, don't be surprised if they make some serious noise in the playoffs. But there's a key figure in the Fever's transformation that we need to talk about: Coach Christy Sides. Her growth as a coach has been nothing short of phenomenal. At the start of the season, the Fever often looked like they were playing a game of one-on-one with 5 players on the court. Now, it's a well-orchestrated ballet. The players know where each other will be, and the ball movement is crisp and purposeful. Sides has clearly put in the work to understand the strengths of her players and has designed schemes that play to those strengths. Another crucial change has been on the defensive end. Early in the season, the Fever was giving up easy points, but now they're defending as if their playoff lives depended on it. Lexi Hull, in particular, embodies this new defensive mindset, fighting for every possession like it's the last. The Fever now looks like a completely different team from the one that started the season. Clark and Mitchell have the potential to dominate the playoffs. What's most incredible is how well they complement each other. Clark's otherworldly court vision and passing ability keep defenses on their toes, while Mitchell is a scoring machine, able to create her own shot in the toughest situations. Together, they're a defensive nightmare, and their influence is contagious. The confidence that Clark and Mitchell bring to the court has elevated the play of everyone around them. Suddenly, the entire Fever squad is playing at a higher level, as if their excellence has raised the bar for everyone. An important aspect of their game is how they handle pressure in clutch moments. Both Clark and Mitchell want the ball in their hands when the game is on the line. This gives the team immense confidence in tight games, knowing that they have two players who aren't afraid to take the big shots. And let's not overlook the joy they bring to the game. You can see it in their faces. They're having fun out there, and that makes a world of difference. When basketball is played with joy, it's played at a whole different level. In the grand scheme of things, Clark and Mitchell are not just the present of the Indiana Fever, they're the future. And from what we're seeing, that future looks incredibly bright. This resurgence is reflected in the league standings. Remember the beginning of the season? The Fever was a wild card, with most people writing them off as a team that was still rebuilding, maybe a couple of years away from being truly competitive. Well, guess what? The future has arrived ahead of schedule. With this win against the Dallas Wings, the Fever now stands at 17 wins and 16 losses. For a team that was expected to be scraping the bottom of the standings, this is nothing short of remarkable. But here's the wildest part. They're not just in the playoff hunt, they're practically locked in. The Chicago Sky, with star player Angel Reese, is sitting down in 8th place with 11 wins and 21 losses, while the Fever has created a comfortable cushion. And get this, the Fever still has a legitimate shot at surpassing the Seattle Storm in the standings. This changes the entire playoff picture. No longer are the Fever the team everyone wants to face in the first round. Now they're the team everyone wants to avoid. Imagine being one of the top seeds and having to face Caitlyn Clark and Kelsey Mitchell in a best-of-3 series. It's a terrifying prospect, and there's more. With the momentum they're riding, the Fever's confidence will be a huge factor in the playoffs. They're heading into the final stretch of the season believing they can beat anyone. How confident is this team right now? They're absolutely on fire. As the pressure ramps up, another key point is that this Indiana team is gaining valuable experience in close games. Each of these hard-fought wins is building their playoff readiness. When the time comes, don't expect them to crumble. And here's another thing. The Fever is entering the playoffs with no pressure. Everyone already thinks they've overachieved just by getting there. You know what that means? They're going to play loose without the fear of making mistakes. A team that plays without fear is a dangerous one. The Fever's style of play, with its combination of deep shooting and creative passing, can pose serious problems for many teams in the playoffs, especially those unaccustomed to defending this kind of attack. And don't forget the element of surprise. Some teams might underestimate the Fever based on their past reputation, but anyone who does will regret it. This isn't the same Fever team from years past. It's a new era with a new mindset. But perhaps the most crucial factor is the team's evolution. They've shown significant improvement throughout the season, and if they continue to grow at this pace, who knows what Clark and Mitchell will be capable of by the time the playoffs roll around. It's a scary thought for their opponents. Of course, it's important not to get too far ahead of ourselves. Winning the title would be an extraordinary accomplishment, but making a deep playoff run, upsetting a favorite, or even reaching the finals, all of that seems increasingly within reach. And you know what's most thrilling? Regardless of how this season ends, it's just the beginning. With Clark, Mitchell, and the rest of the squad, the Fever is building something special, something that could dominate the WNBA for years to come. So buckle up, because this year's WNBA playoffs are shaping up to be unforgettable, and the Indiana Fever, they just might be the most exciting story of the postseason.